Hi, my name's Steve Woody and I'm the author of the book Online Mastery. Now the purpose of this video today is to give you in just 1 hour a fully functioning website. That is a website that you will be able to use in your business. You'll be able to attach a membership section, an e-commerce section, a contact form, a gallery. You'll be able to do everything that you need to do in a website within 1 hour. And why am I doing this? For so long now, I've been trawling the internet, looking for the best possible way to build a website. The best graphics, the best content, what works, the latest practices. I spend 12 to 15 hours a day trawling the internet. When most of you are asleep in bed, I'm working. When most of you are at work, I'm working. When most of you are out enjoying yourselves, I'm still working. All I have done for the past 6 months is work, to the detriment of my health, my family, my friends. I'm not saying it's right, but it's what I've done. Why? Why have I done it? What have I learned? Well, the funny thing is, I've not learned anything amazing. There is no formula, there is no special magical trick that you can apply to your website that will just make it work. It doesn't exist. The only thing that I can tell you that I have learnt is that if you take action, if you take small but constant action, then your website will improve. If you take today and create what I'm going to give you, that will give you a foundation. And it is my duty and my promise to you to give you the best foundation that I possibly can. I want to give you all of my knowledge so that you have the best start. Now, my book that I wrote, Online Mastery, if you read that, that will give you the foundation for your business. I'm not going to promote it. I'm not going to give you the links for it at the moment. I'm going to give you an hour's worth of content. If you feel at the end of that hour you've had enough content that you think my book will be valuable to you, then please purchase it at the end of this video. But for now, let's jump straight into it. Let's get into the content and let's get you a website. Okay, so we've got a lot of content to go through and I'm going to dive straight in because I want to give you as much as I can for the very limited time that we have here today. Now, in the very first section of my book, the very first thing I talk about is how important it is to build a foundation, a brief, to get a concept of what it is that you want to do. And to do that, you need to know your outcome. You need to know the target audience. You need to know who it is that you're going to be marketing towards. You can't build a website for you. You need to build a website for your target audience. And in order to do that, you need to have a bit of a strategy in place to know where you're going to go. There's no point just jumping onto a website and then start building and grabbing things because it will take forever. It will look crap. If you're going to do this, do it properly. There's a questionnaire which I'll give you free. You can do the questionnaire and it will give you a little bit of it will give you a better understanding of what it is that you need from your business from an online presence perspective. For now, however, what we're going to do, we're going to jump straight into building a site because I want to reiterate how important that first instance is, but for the purpose of time, we're going to bypass that. So we're going to assume you already have that information. You know the purpose of your website, you know who you're going to be targeting, and now we just need to go in and build it. So I'm using a Mac, and if you're like me and you're using a Mac, then download a program called MAMP. If you're on Windows, you can use the alternative, which is called WAMP. MAMP stands for Macintosh, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Once you've downloaded and installed, what will happen is you'll have a little box. It will look just like this. Start running the servers. And what this will mean now is that your computer is a server. And what this means is that you can now go to localhost. We're going to look in preferences here, because in preferences, if you look at ports, you'll have a port number for your Apache. That means on here, if I type in localhost and then port 80, this will take me to my index page. So these are a few websites which I'm currently building. This takes you to basically your htdocs area. If you want to get this up now, what you need to do is go into your applications, go into MAMP and into htdocs.
The htdocs folder that you can see here is the same one here. I've copied the htdocs onto my desktop and I've called it Online Mastery. If I come into the Online Mastery folder, I can see a folder here called Sandbox. Here is my htdocs. So you can now see what is classed as a server. This is my server space. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this website test. Okay, what I now need to do is go on to wordpress.org. Here we're going to download the latest version of WordPress. I'm going to copy that onto my desktop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that straight into the test folder. I'm going to unzip. I can then get rid of the zip file and I'm going to rename the WordPress folder www. This has all of the directories that we need within, and the reason I've done it like this will become apparent later. It's a security measure, an additional security measure which I'm giving you to protect your WordPress website. So now we have everything in here. Within the server area, we have a folder called test and a folder called www. So to be able to notice this, what we'll do is we'll go to localhost. You may need to put port 80. To do port is a double dot or semicolon, then 80. I've set my system up so I don't need to do that. So I can just go localhost /test/www. If I was just to refresh the page, it would now become apparent because test would be on here. If I went in, I could go to www. This is now going to tell me that I need to create a WordPress file. It says it hasn't got a WP config file, so let's create it. This is going to take me through the famous 5-minute install. So let's go. First thing it's going to ask for is my database information. We haven't created that yet, so what we now need to do is go back to the MAMP settings, and in Open Start Page, we can see PHP My Admin. In PHP My Admin, we're going to open up a database. I'm going to call this database test. You can call it anything you want. I'm just going to call it test. Now we're going to go back and we know our database name. Our database name is now test. The username in this setting is root and the password is the same. It's set as root. Database host, unless your hosting provider gives you something else, it will always be localhost, and table prefix at the moment is WP. We're going to change this later again for an additional security reason, but for now this is fine. Submit, and it says okay, you've done it, everything's good, we can run the install. Perfect. Now we're into the famous 5-minute installation. Give our site title a name. I'm going to call it test website. Do not use admin as a username. Do not use admin. If I wanted to attack a WordPress website, I would automatically assume the username is admin and use a brute force attack on a password. A brute force attack basically means a text file with millions and millions of combinations, and I would hopefully guess your password, knowing that I already have your username. Avoid that username. Set yourself up as a user, set yourself up with a password, and then enter your email address. I'm going to turn off the ability for search engines to rank us just during this process while we do the install. That's it, we can now log in. So this is it, we're into WordPress. We have the latest version of WordPress installed, and it's now installed in our folder. And we have everything that we need here. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to take you through how to install the theme. Now there's so many different themes you can use. If you want to go to WordPress, you can download a theme called Responsive. You can play with that. That's a free theme. I'm not going to use a free theme. Okay, I think there's certain things in this world that you can get for free, and I think there's certain things in this world you need to pay for. Okay, if you want a free theme, there are loads out there, good luck. What I'm going to do in this demonstration is I'm going to use a theme from Woo. It is called Canvas. If you go to Woo, and you've got woothemes.com, you'll see they use a framework. Their framework on their theme is called Canvas. It's their best framework, and they also have WooCommerce, which is the e-commerce system which we're going to be installing a little bit later. So for that reason, I like to use Canvas as a theme because it's a good base, a good framework for when you go to install later your e-commerce solution. So we're going to use this Canvas theme by Woo. They have fantastic documentation, and there's a lot of out-the-box styling that you can apply to this website that will get you off the ground. So another website that I use, and I really value this, is one called ThemeForest. ThemeForest is a part of a collection of websites. So if you're up at the top here on ThemeForest and you use this little drop down arrow, you can see here there's ActiveDen, Audio Jungle, ThemeForest, Video Hive, Graphic River, and Code Canyon. Code Canyon is one of my favorite websites. It's different plugins and different code excerpts that people have created that you can just put straight into your website. Now I've got to create an account here. I'm going to sign in with this account. And the reason I'm going to do that is because in my download section I've already purchased Canvas. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to download this now so that I can install it into WP Content Themes. We'll go back and do that again just so that you saw that. Within our WW folder, this is our WordPress directory. We do not need to touch any of these files apart from WP Content. Within here, we've got our themes and our plugins. We're going to go into our themes and we're going to drag the ThemeForest and then we're going to unzip. What we're now going to do is delete this. We're going to go back to our installation. We're going to go to Appearance Themes. We can now see that we have the Canvas by Woo theme. So we're going to activate this plugin. Okay, so this is going to ask us to download a few things. We're not going to do that. We don't need to do that. We're just going to delete this, and delete this. And then we're going to do a few basic customizations. The first thing that we're going to do, which is very important, is we're going to create a new folder. This new folder in our themes directory we're going to call test. Now why are we doing this? We're going to create a bespoke theme. It's not as complicated as it sounds. There's only two things we need to do. The reason we're going to do this is because if we make any amends to our theme and then Woo Themes updates Canvas, we will lose all of our customizations. So we're going to create what is called a child theme. To do that, what we need to do is two things. We need to create a new file, not a new folder. We need to create a new file, which will be a text document. And I'm going to go into a program now called Coda. You can use Notepad++, you can use whatever you want. Again, I purchased this as my text editor because it's what I like to use. Okay, so now I'm in my desktop. I'm going to go into the online mastery folder, into our sandbox. I'm going to pick up my test folder, go into www, and now you can see the exact same folder which I have here, I have within my text editor. I'm going to use this from now on because it's an easier way for me to edit my HTML. So I'm going to go into WP Content, I'm going to go into Themes, into Test, I'm going to create a new file. This first file needs to be called style.css. That's it, it's as simple as that. Okay, so I've created my style CSS, and now what I need to do is I need to copy in some content. What I need to do is I need to give this a theme name. And what we do is we start by using /star. This is a comment. Once we've commented out this section, we're going to enter here what's called a metadata. This is to allow WordPress to know some information about our theme. So theme name, a theme URI, which is the URL for that name, the version number, the description, an author, a URI for the author, and then we need to know what template we're going to use. Now the template is the previous file we was using, which is Canvas. So in this instance, if we went back to themes, we could see Canvas, that's our template name. We're then going to close out the comment. We're going to load the default style. To do that, we're going to use @import, and then we're going to use speech mark, .canvas. Now the reason we're doing .canvas is this takes us out. We're in test at the moment. We're in this style sheet. That is where we are here. / means to go back. So to go back a folder. We're now here. We now need to go into Canvas. So / is to go back a directory into the Canvas directory, into CSS directory, and then we want to load reset.css. The same thing below for style. What we're going to do is we're going to save this out, and by saving this, what we're doing is we're actually saying this is our new theme, please import all the styles from Canvas. So it's going to load exactly the same as Canvas would. However, if we make any additions or any modifications here, when we update Canvas, we won't be updating or changing any of our modifications. Okay, so next thing we need to do now, we need to go into our appearance, and you can see we've got this new frame. What I'm going to do as well is I have a screenshot which is saved on my desktop. I'm going to put that in this test folder. It's called screenshot.png, and by copying screenshot.png, when I now refresh this, it will give me that screenshot. So I now have that information saved on here if I want to use that. I'm going to activate this theme. And you can now see that if I go to Appearance and Themes, that we have our new Online Mastery Framework by Online Mastery with a link, our description, the child theme is Canvas, and we are now using the Canvas theme, but we're using what is called a child theme. I'm going to delete 2011 and 2012 because we no longer require those. We are now set up using WooThemes Canvas on a child theme to build our own website. I'm now going to open up the website, so for the first time we can take a look at what we have out the bag. Here it is. This is our website as it stands. There's a few things we want to change, a few things that we don't like on here. We're going to go through and we're going to do that now. We can close down the windows we no longer need. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into what is called the settings, and we're going to go into the general tab. In here we can give our site name. You can call this whatever your site's called, and we can give it a tagline. You can take this out or you can leave it in if you want. This is fine at the moment. We're going to leave this section for now. What I want to do when we do come back to this is we're going to change this slightly. Everything else on here is right at the moment. Our email address. If you want people to be able to register on the site, you need to tick this box. We're going to have this registered because for the membership section later, people are going to need to log in. What level we want to log in as will be a subscriber. Okay, all the other information is fine, so we can save that. Now coming back to this section, what I was talking about before with security, and the reason that within our theme, if you remember, we created a folder called www. Now the reason that we did this is because if a robot on the internet is looking for a WordPress site to attack, it will do a domain name / wp-content, which will be your content folder, or wp-admin. If it finds these folders, then it knows you have a WordPress site. What we do is we hide these folders within a subdirectory. In this instance, it's called www because it's just simple. No one really notices it and it's not a problem. However, we don't want people to have to type in www every time they come to your website. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into www and we're going to copy the index.php, and on your server you will also have a .ht access. It's not going to be here on a local host, but we're going to copy that as well. What we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this file. I'm going to copy it across to the parent, so from the www into the main folder. We're going to take out the copy, so it's back to an index.php, and we're going to open this file up. On the very bottom line it says require. It's got // only one dot this time. What we're going to do is enter www/. You don't have to call it www, you can call it what you want, but that must be replicated there. We're now going to save this file, and in the same instance, on the site address URL, the bottom URL, we're going to take out the www. We're going to update this, and this in turn will update the database. Now to visit our website, we don't have to go to test./www. If we do that, we will still get the site, but we're just going to go to test. We're going to get the same site, okay, but now we do not have to put the www in front. The only time we'll need to do that is if we want to log into our admin area. We'll have to put in the www and then the /wp-admin. That will take us to our admin area. So people can't try and log into your admin area. You've protected both your admin area and you've protected also your folders within WordPress. It's another way to harden the security. Okay, so that's now done. We can go back into our folder that we originally had, which is within our www, into our WP content, into our themes, and into our test. So this is where we'll be doing all of our work when we customize if we do anything later on. Coming back down to the settings, we're going to go to writing. Everything here we don't need to worry about. This is okay. You can turn off the emoticons if you want. Go down to reading. Now this is the first area that we're going to change. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like to open up in a new tab, pages. In here we've got a sample page already. We're going to edit the sample page. I'd like you to call this home page. Don't worry about anything else at the moment. Just call that home page. Now if you come back to your reading settings, on front page select a static page. I'd like you to choose, you need to refresh this now, and when you do, this will now become home page. And now I'd like you to save your changes. Go back in and create another new page. This one I would like you to call blog. Publish the page. Come back to the reading settings and select in the post page blog. Save the changes. If you remember when we set the website up, we said we did not want to allow search engines to find the website. This is the text that you will, the link that you will have to untick to allow that to happen. This is where it is. It's within the reading setting here. Now, because we're developing on localhost, we can leave that unticked. I just have it as a force of habit now that if I'm developing a site, I don't want search engines to pick it up until it's ready. Save the changes and move on to discussion. Now, I don't like people to be able to comment on a new page. If I create a new page, I want the commenting system turned off. To do that, you just untick this link here. I also unlink the notifications from other blogs, i.e. pinbacks and traces. So I have everything tipped off here. I like to save that section out. Okay, media, we don't need to worry about at the moment. You can go in and you can create some adjustments to the media settings here, but for now we're going to leave that. The next thing to do in permalinks, at the moment when you have a page, it will create each new page, p equals 123, p equals so on and so forth. For example, if I was to view the blog page, it's page ID 5. That is really annoying. You don't want to be telling people !page _ ID equals 5. You want to give them a much easier name. So what we'll do here is we're going to choose post name, and that is going to be our permalink. We're going to save that. Now if we go back and refresh, what was that awkward name is now /blog. It just picks up the post title. Okay, so that's all the main settings now for WordPress. We're going to go in now to Woo, and Woo has its own theme options that we're going to customize. The first of these being the custom logo. We're going to go in and we're going to have to upload from our computer some standard files. So once we've uploaded this, we can insert this into the image. And we can use this as our custom logo. We can also create a favicon. To do that, I would go to favicon at google.co.uk. Here you can choose your file. Again, if I use my logo, open this up, and I want to choose it as a 16 by 16 favicon. Generate the favicon, and this will allow me to download it here. I can then come back to the website, I can upload this, And I know that this is going to be within my downloads. It may look blurred, but that's okay, don't worry. Full size, use this image, upload it, and save. What this basically means is when I view my website, the favicon is the little icon that you get here. Can you see how this is updated and changed now? So you may want to use that for your logo as well. It just gives it that little bit extra, so you're not looking at WordPress. Okay, going back to look at the website, as you can see again now, I've got my logo, albeit a bit big, but it's there. And then we've got our menu, and then we have our home page, which we had set up from when we changed it earlier. We also have blog, which we can go into now, and we'll change the rest of these settings in a little while. But as you can see, our web page is already there. It's starting to come together. All we need to do now is go back to the canvas settings, insert tracking code. This would be a fantastic time to go to Google Analytics. Go to Google Analytics, google.co.uk/analytics, create an account, and when you create an account and sign up, you'll get the option to go into, as an admin, if you go in, you'll be able to get some tracking information once you set the account up. This will give you a script. Copy that script and paste that script into your tracking code area. Save those changes. Into subscription settings, if you have an RSS URL, if you have an email URL, you can edit those there. Into display options, there's nothing we need to really worry about here. And in advertising, we're not going to use the advertising. If you wanted to embed an ad, you could. What this would then do, is you're looking at your theme, is it will create an ad in the top right hand corner here. You can obviously change this to be anything you want. I'm not going to enable this at this stage. I'm going to go straight into styling and layout. Now, I want to change the background color for the website, and I'm going to use a slight gray. This uses hex codes, but you can also click on here and you can actually choose what you want it to be. I'm going to use CD, CD, CD because that's a hex code I know. I like that. We're going to save the changes, and as you can see, that's changed the background of the website. Now, we don't have to use a color. We can use an image. If we have a background image, we can upload that here. We can choose whether it repeats. We can choose the position of that image, and we can choose whether it scrolls or whether it's static with the website. The next thing we're going to do is come down to general layout. In the general layout, this allows us to change our site width. Now, I like to keep things at 980 pixels. This is WordPress standard. And we can also choose our main layout, whether we want a sidebar on the right, on the left, two on the right, one on the left, one on the right, or two on the left. Too many options for me. I'm going to keep this very standard. In our footer area, do we want no footer, one footer, 2, 3, or 4? I like to have the 3 box standard underneath. And also I'm going to create a mobile fixed layout. So this means that because Canvas is responsive, what would normally happen as I was viewing this website, if I was to shrink this website and make it smaller, you will see that the content will start to stack on top of itself until such point that it turns into what is a responsive theme. A responsive theme means all the elements are now on top of each other. And we have a jQuery JavaScript menu which allows us to toggle on and off. As we start to make the site bigger again, the viewpoint changes, and there are 3 main viewports. There's the mobile, the tablet, and the desktop. Okay, now we're going to work in the desktop at the moment. So refresh the screen. Because I've now turned that off, that's not going to happen. Nothing's going to move underneath now, as you can see. It's not turned into a responsive theme, it's just shrunk. Again, I'm going to enable this feature because I like my responsive websites. Coming down to the boxed layout, enable boxed layout style. If I save changes and I change this and I refresh this, instantly what you're going to see is a change here. I can go back now to our general settings and I can change in the general styling, I could take out this background, take it back to white. Because now you can see there is a boxed element within the website, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in and style the boxed layout. I'm going to give the box layout a very, very slight grey. When I update my page, you can see that this now has a slight grey, but the white is still on the outside. Okay, so coming down, we can also choose our box margins. We can also choose our boxed borders, top, bottom, left and right, and also any radius or anything, any rounded corners that we'd like to have. Top navigation, we can go through and we can style this. Header, we can go through and we can style the header section. Primary navigation, there's two types of navigation that come with WooCommerce: top navigation and primary. This is your primary. Top will be at the very top of the page. We can go through and we can customize our posts, our archives, and into our widgets, our footer and our typography. As you can see, just by changing a few small elements within here, we can really change the customization of our site. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to create, I'm not going to worry about any of these side elements, you can go through those. Woo has a fantastic catalog that will teach you how to use all of this. For now, I'm just going to go through and we're going to start changing a few different things. Hook Manager, this is to add additional features. We're not going to worry about that too much, that's a bit more advanced. Layout Manager you can enable if you like. It gives you an option that if you're using a sidebar, you can actually just drag and scroll to choose the column width. And we're not going to use that, but it just gives you an idea of what you can do with that. Meta Manager, again, if you want to change some of the references, some of the shortcodes, and then we have some framework settings. Super username, I would normally set this as myself. If you have anybody else who accesses your website, you want to be able to take this out so that they can't see it. If you're also going to be building websites for other people, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to add some branding. Woo allows you to personalize and to use this theme almost as your own. So the option panel, you can take out Woo and you can create your own. The icon you can change, the WordPress login you can change, the panel header is here. You can completely change this whole section. By doing that, it will give you a lot more freedom in what you do. I'm just going to quickly show you. And this is a website that I'm currently testing and playing with. If I log in, you can see here that it's got my own my own imagery here, and I've created this. Now this is what I use out the bag when I create a website for someone. I have my own customizations that I've created, and they ship with every single installation. So it just shows you that by spending a little bit of time here by creating this, once you have it, you can then take a snapshot of that. You can then give that to other people. You can install it on new sites. Which brings me to a fantastic point. We're going to go into plugins. Now there's a couple of plugins out the back which I would always recommend. The very, very, very first one of these is a plugin called Duplicator. Now by installing this Duplicator, what this allows you to do is copy your website. It also allows you to take a snapshot and to move it. If you're moving domains or anything, it's fantastic to have. I'll delete the Hello Dolly because I appreciate Matt wants that with everything, but I don't use it. A Kismet we'll use later. We're going to add a new one now called Better WP. Type that into the install plugin, search for it. It will come up Better WP Security. We're going to install that to use later. We'll activate that now. Another plugin we're going to install is SEO by Yoast. This is a phenomenal plugin. It should be a standard with every WordPress installation. We're going to activate that. We're going to go in now and we're going to create a new plugin, and this one is called Advanced Custom Fields. Again, another plugin that should be as standard with every installation. So there's quite a few of these on here. We'll have to look for the right one. You'll know the one when you find it. It's got about 991 ratings on it. Advanced Custom Fields. A couple more that we need. We're going to get if we type in cache, W3 total cache. Now you know this is a popular plugin. It's got 3,500 ratings. Just to give you an idea, sort of 5-star, 3,500 ratings. It's definitely worth looking at if so many people are using this and giving it such a high rating. Okay, add new. One more which I like, this is a personal favourite for me, is image widget. Very, very simple. It's just going to allow you to add widgets to your sidebars. Okay, so I don't like to add too many plugins. If there's a plugin, what I'll normally do is look at how I can create code for that. Everything I build is bespoke, and I use bespoke code, so I don't use that many plugins. These ones out of the bag, I would highly recommend. Every single one of my websites ships with these as standard. Okay, so you should always have these as standard. There's a few more that I would recommend. Backup Buddy is another one. If you can't afford Backup Buddy, then I would look at BackWP Up. This is a good alternative. BackWP Up. This is a backup, so you can schedule your backups for your website on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Whilst you can't be 100% secure all of the time, it's impossible. You can be 99% secure and have a plan B. So always make sure that your websites are backed up. You only need to use a free version, and you can create your, you can get your installation backed up, and you can create your job there to do that. Right, and also just while we're here, going through security, if you create your database backup, and then once you go through that, you can secure your site from basic attacks. And then in the dashboard, it will actually give you some very simple things to do. Be very careful, because as you start to amend this, you can lock yourself out your site. All we're going to do is two very simple things. A user ID with once it exists, we're going to change that. Click, and it's done. Back to dashboard, table prefix. Do you remember at the beginning when we said it was WP? This is where we're going to change it. Click there, rename. It changes it for you. It's now got a new prefix, which is here. Go back to here. Nothing's red. A few things orange. We're not too worried about those. For now, we're done. Our site is secure. We can go to SEO by Yoast, and we can go through here. There's going to be some videos you can go through which will teach you how to use this. I'm not going to go through it now. The same with W3 Cache to set this to create the settings here to give you a faster website. One site I would recommend once you're up and running is called GT Metrics. This website, GT Metrics, and we're just going to use it quickly now, I'm going to show you it, measures the performance of your website. It measures it against Yahoo, and it measures it against Google. So it will get you a page speed, and it will also get you a Y slow to tell you how your site's performing. Now there's certain areas in your website that it will tell you what you can do to amend these to make your website quicker. Now at the moment, as you can see, I'm running an A and a B grade. Now the things that I can do here, there are a few things. I can avoid using a character set in a meta tag. If I click on this, it will tell me what I'm doing wrong. If I click on what does this mean, it'll also tell me what I can do. So if I click on read more, it will actually tell me normally if there's the information here, what I can do to rectify that. If I go into my Y slow grade, it will tell me here I'm not using a content delivery network, and it'll also tell me a few other things that I can do. For example, if I click on add expires headers, what does this mean? Read more. This has a good explanation of what I can do, and actually tells me the code that I can add into my htaccess to ensure that this is improved. So there's just a very small few tweaks I can make here, but this gives you a great idea of how quick your page will load. Your page load time should be under 4 seconds. 4 seconds is the worst case scenario. If you don't want to use GT metrics, another one you can use, I highly recommend, is Pingdom Tools. Again, if you come onto here, you can create on here a test of your site to see how quick it loads and compares to other sites. I didn't even type my site in, that's not my site. One thing I'd say when you're testing your site with Pingdom Tools is to test it twice. It's saying I'm faster than 68 because I've got a 2.10 seconds. If I retest it now, it will give me a much better picture of what my site is loading at. So it's 2.78 seconds is the average for my site, and that's loading from Texas, Dallas, and I'm in London, UK. Another thing that I would recommend if you're doing some tests, so already you've done your speed side of things, I would recommend using Validator. And what this will do is this checks your HTML for any errors. This will check to see if there's any errors in your code, and if it is, it will give you what those errors are. Now, let's just use, for example, we'll go for a big one like Google. See if there's any errors in Google. So Google's got 26 errors and 4 warnings. Now, these are just telling you things that Google could do to improve its website. And this is just an example. You don't want lots of errors and lots of warnings. Although I've used Google as an example here, Google will penalize you if you have errors. If a robot comes to your site or a crawler trawls your website and finds errors, it will say your website's not very well built, and for that reason it will go to another website. A well-built website will be ranked higher than your website. It's not all about content. Whilst content is quite important for SEO, so is having good foundations. So make sure you have no errors and no warnings on your website. Back to the build itself. I'm not going to take you through how to add a post and how to add a page because that's quite simple and quite self-explanatory. There are plenty of tutorials that will teach you how to do that. We will create a couple of new pages because we're going to want an About Us section. And I mentioned earlier we're going to create a membership section and we're going to create a shopping cart. So the next thing that we're going to do here, we're going to go back to our plugins and we're going to add 2 new plugins. We're going to add a plugin called S2 Member. I don't personally use this anymore. It is a membership plugin and it's fantastic. I tend to use Wishlist Member because it's a paid plugin and I prefer premium plugins. The premium themes that I use have better support. They're just better to use. I would recommend using a premium theme. There's so many additional bonuses to using them. However, there are a lot of good free plugins that you've seen. There's some amazing ones out there. Just when you're in a position, I would look to maybe create an opportunity where you can purchase premium plugins. So we have S2 Member. Whilst we're in a plugin screen, we're going to download one more plugin, and that is WooCommerce. Again, I apologize. I know I'm talking very fast. I have a lot of content to go through and not much time left to do this for you. When you create WooCommerce, what it's going to do is it's going to ask you to install some standard pages. So welcome to WooCommerce, install WooCommerce pages. We're going to click on that. WooCommerce is now set up. If we come back to our site and we go /shop, we now have our shopping cart. There's a lot more options that are now available here. As you can see, our menu is starting to get a little bit messy as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this. To do this, we're going to come to Appearance and Menus. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new main menu. We were adding a couple of pages a minute ago. If we add our pages that we want, so we have About Us, we have our home page, and we have all these additional pages that have now been added. We also have the opportunity now to add some pages for our S2 member. So we're going to have our membership options page. And we're now going to create a new page called membership area. We also want to have a contact page. And this will do for now. Everything is set up. Let's go into S2 member and set this up very quickly. Whilst we're doing our menu section, I don't want to move across too quickly. We're going to set our primary menu for main menu. We're going to add the pages that we need. So we're going to have a home page, about us, blog. We're going to have the shop. And we're also going to have, I believe we had a contact us section. Maybe I didn't add that page. Just going to check in pages now. Oh, before I do that, stay on this page. Remember to save your menu. Okay, so I did save that, but obviously because I hadn't refreshed the menu, it hadn't updated. So go back into our appearance menus, and you can now see we have contact us. So we're going to have this on here as well. We're also going to have our membership options and our membership area. We're going to have our membership area as a subdirectory within our membership options, and we're going to change this to membership or to members area. We're going to change shop to products. Now we might want to reorder these so they look a little bit better. We're going to move membership area before products. We're going to leave everything else where it is. We're going to save the menu. If we now come back to the page and we refresh, we can see that we've got a much better area here, and members area is now within members. Now this membership area, we're going to access this page. When we do access this page, what we're going to do is we're going to lock it. Now as we go into a page, we can now see, because we have S2 member installed, we can restrict the page. Level 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4. So you can choose, level 0 is a free membership, and level 1 is a paid membership. Level 2 has access to level 2 and 1. Level 3, 2, 1. Level 4 has access to level 4, 3, 2 and 1. So you can structure your levels. You can also add custom capabilities. So you can have people that can only access certain pages. You need custom capability A to access page A, for example. And you would add this here. So for example, at the moment, we can lock this off to page 1, and you need custom capability membership to be able to access this page. This is just an example of how we can make a membership area and what we can do. Once that is locked, it will not be available on the members area unless they are a member. They will not see this unless they are a member at that level. Okay, so let's go back to what we said we were doing. We were going to set up very quickly our membership area. So come down to general options, and we have our safeguards. We can get our encryption key. We're going to auto generate that. Now it tells you here, if you're on a local host or MAMP, if you're a developer, then you need to add this line of code to your WP config. So what we'll now do is come into our coder, come back to themes, come back all the way to your main folder, and you have WP config, and it says here that we need to define this. We'll add it anywhere in there. Define localhost equals true, and this now knows that we are operating on a development. We can add a badge to our installation if we'd like. We can set up all the email and other things here. You can go through this. There's enough documentation. We're going to allow free subscribers at level 0. Remember that for this to work, we also need to have in our settings, do you remember the panel that we need? That has to be set up as well. Membership levels, you can change the name of them. Login, you can change the entire login screen and section. You can also ask for additional profile fields when people register to get custom information. The next thing we're going to come down to is our login welcome page. So this will be the page that people will see once they are logged in. We want this to be our membership area. If people are trying to access an area and they're not a member, we need them to go to a registration page. That is going to be our membership options page. We're going to save these, and this is now set. Go into PayPal options. We're going to create all of our PayPal details, enter in your PayPal email address, API username. This can all be found. There's documentation to show you how to do this. You can go into PayPal. If you go into your preferences, API settings, you can get all of this information in there. Fill these forms in. Once you've done this, save it. Go to PayPal buttons, and then you can create a PayPal for each level. So for example, you can offer the first 1 day as a trial for £0, and then we're going to charge £10, Great British pounds. It's going to go to the PayPal stage. Do you remember the custom capabilities I spoke about? We can call them here. And once we're done with that and we're happy with that, we have a description. We're going to generate our button code. Okay, this has then been generated. We can copy this. Okay, we can go across to our membership options page. Now we have this code. And in our membership options, we can paste this, update our page. Now when we view this page, this will tell us our membership options. If we click on this, it will take us through to PayPal, and we can then go through. And we obviously haven't set it up yet, but we can buy that membership area. If I go and create a new page now, member level 1, and I publish this, and we're going to give it that custom capability. Remember, this is how you can create different pages. I keep everything at level 1, and I only change the custom capabilities. So I would give this your product name. Okay, give this your product name, and then when people buy your product, they have access to your product name. Give each one a different product name. Now, for example, if I view this page, because I'm logged in as an admin, I'll be able to view the site. However, what it's doing now, because I have not purchased this, or I have not set myself up with the custom capabilities at this level at the moment, because I have not done that, when I try and view the page, it takes me to the membership options. If you need to add somebody manually, go into users. You can go in and you can edit the user. As you come down here, you can see you have the gateway. In the gateway, you have custom capabilities. You can add in the level that they are. You can add in the custom capability. When you update the profile, they will then be able to view the page. Okay, so that's the membership side of the site is now set up. Remember that when your site goes live and you take it out of your development, you can then take out the local host from your WP config. We will no longer need that, so we can delete that line. Next thing to set up quickly is going to be the WooCommerce. So in the canvas options, we now have WooCommerce available. This is allowing us to set up WooCommerce within the menu itself, and also we have WooCommerce here. What you can do here is you can add a product. So WooCommerce comes with 2 tabs. You have WooCommerce and products. You can add a new product, test product, test demo. You can then add to it a featured image, the price of the image, give everything an SKU code. This identifies the image. If you're going to do it at a sale price, what it's going to be. We're going to upload a an image. We're going to do that again because unfortunately it just crashed. Okay, set a featured image there. SKU code is test. Regular price is 10. Sale price is 7. If it's downloadable, if it's virtual, you can set everything up here. Once you're happy and you've got your product, you can publish your product. And what we're now going to do, if we go back to the website, we can come across to our products or our shop. We can now see that we have this here. If we want it, we can add this to the cart. One of the things I was talking about we didn't have is we could add on here to our menu. We're going to do that very quickly now. A shopping cart. Remember, this won't work unless you use the subfolder and of course spell it right. So going into the Canvas theme and going into the options for WooCommerce, which we now have here. Display a link to the cart on the main navigation. Save those changes. What we also want to do now, because we can go back to the website, as you can see in the cart now, we have this item here. We can view our shopping cart from here. And we can also calculate the shipping and we can check out. There's a lot of settings in WooCommerce. Again, go through Woo themes. You can go through all the documentation that you need. This is really just to give you an idea of how easy it is to set this up. Okay, so a couple more things we need to do now. Once we have all the main aspects of the site set up, we can go into Appearance and go into what's called Widgets. Widgets are areas that are set up on the site. And I'm just going to open a new page and a new window so that you can see what I'm talking about here. I'm going to do this in real time. I'm going to have both open together. So this is the website itself, and this is obviously the dashboard area that we have. And what we can see, if we're looking on a page, for example, and I'll use the About Us page, we're using the whole screen. If you remember when we was in the Canvas settings, and when we was going through the theme options, we set up that we wanted to only use the main layout and not to use a sidebar. We're now going to choose to have a sidebar layout. And what that means is that when we refresh this page, when we choose a page, what that means is that I'll have the sidebar. What we need to do is just set that up in Canvas in the theme options. Going to styling and layout, general layout, and we're going to set that there. When we save the changes, we can now refresh the page. You can see we have our sidebar. Okay, if you don't want a sidebar on a certain page but you do on others, you can use what's called a page template. I'll take you through that very quickly in a minute, but for now let's just look at the sidebar. So for example, if we look at widget areas now, these don't look very good just as standard. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a little boxed area. Okay. What we might want to do is we want to create like a little background. We might want to give it rounded corners slightly. We might want to give it a little bit of padding. So 10 from the top and bottom and 10 from the left and right. Save that page, refresh this. And already you can see that we have a different area. I'm not saying it's good at the moment, but it just gives you an idea of what we can do. Might make it slightly lighter at the moment just so it doesn't look as bad. Yeah, because you can see we've got a slightly different area, and what I might do is just give that a little bit of a border as well. A little 1 pixel border. Save that, refresh that, and it just distinguishes our side area so that we can see now that we have a widget area. You can go through and you can play with this to your heart's content. And what we want to do is we want to choose in our widgets. So we're going to go to Appearance and Widgets. And we're going to take out some of the standard widgets. So we don't want any of these in here we currently have. But what we do want to do is we want to add in some maybe of the WooCommerce that we have. So maybe add in the shopping cart from WooCommerce. Maybe we want to allow people to search for their products. And also maybe we want to allow people to be able to go in through the categories and be able to view the page there. So we're going to save these, update our page, and as you can see, this has changed now. We've now got our shopping cart, product categories, and our selection. Obviously this is saying there are no product categories because we didn't select one for our product. If we went into our product and we changed that, then it would start to appear here. So this gives you an idea of how you can create an e-commerce website, a membership website. There's a plugin we forgot. We're going to go back into plugins. There's always one. Now you can use the built-in standard Canvas contact form, or you can go in and get one called Contact Form 7. Again, this is a free plugin. It's good. Once you're in a position to get a premium plugin, download Gravity Forms. Gravity Forms is fantastic, but it costs money. Contact Form is free and it does the job. Now, as I was saying, you can use, if you want, on here, if we went into our pages and we went into our Contact Us, we could change the page template. Do you remember before I was telling you about page templates? So we could maybe have a contact form here instead. By updating this, it will take it from a blank page when I refresh. It will now put a contact form on here for us. It's telling me that the email address has not been set up properly, so it's not going to work. So we need to go through that and we need to set that up within WooCommerce ourselves. We're not, however, going to use this. What we're going to use instead, we use a default template. We're going to use a contact form. So if we go into contact form, we can actually create custom fields here. So generate a tag, and we want to ask people their email. We want to know people's names, and you can ask all the different informations. You can add checkboxes, radio buttons, and it tells you what to do. So if we want to add a radio button here, choices are yes or yes, and the question that we're going to ask people. So this gives you the information to add on the left here. Put this at the bottom of the message. We'll say, did you find this tutorial helpful? And then we're going to add in a little P, by the way. These P's mean new paragraph. You can use P or line break or P. Did you find this tutorial helpful? Radio, yes, yes. And then what we need to do is add this below, because this is the email that will come to us. So this is going to come to this email address. It's going to come from there. You can also upload attachments to get people to do that. If you use mail too, this will send a response to say thank you for your email. What we're going to do once that's done is we'll save this, copy this, what is called shortcode. You'll start to hear this a lot within WordPress. Anything with a bracket in here is a shortcode. So this is a complex code that's been shortened so that it's easy for you to go and drop it into pages. We're going to put this on the contact page. I'm going to copy that in there, update that, and we're going to refresh that, and it would change from the WooCommerce to the contact one that we had. Now, there's a plugin which I personally like and I use, and it's a part of this, so you can add this in to Contact Form 7, and it's called Are You Human? Are You Human? Don't forget to put the spaces in between R and U. Okay, so when you get here, this is Are You Human? Free capture alternative. And if you go to the website, I hate capture. They call it crapture. These annoying boxes where you have to type images in, I can't stand them. They do my head in. This gives you a fun alternative. Put the animals on the ground. So it tells you what you need to do in order to pass the test. What this will do is this will add one of these boxes onto your form. so that when you go through, you have to do that before you can send. It's just a way of preventing spam. I would never recommend putting an email address on your website. Always use a contact form instead. Okay, so that's a lot of the stuff that we've covered already. You've now got a website that has a membership section to it. You have an e-commerce section, a way that people can contact you. You can create new pages. You can add a blog. Now, to go through a blog, the difference between pages are static. Pages are things that are going to be there forever. Pages are things that you are not going to change, in essence. Posts are news articles. Posts are like blog articles. A lot of people don't like to say blog anymore. Some people like to say news articles or company information, things like that. So every time you add a new post here or a new blog, that will populate in this blog area here. You can turn on comments for this. You can turn them off, that's up to you. It has a very, very nice standard out the box feel to it. You can customize that going through the options later. Now, that's pretty much it. I think we've covered most of the things we're going to go through here at the moment. There's a lot more that you can do in the way of customizing the actual theme components themselves, going through the site here that we talked about when you can add new files. If you do need to add a file to the new site, so to the if you go into WP content, if you go into themes, into test, anything you need to add in here, what I'll say is if you go into Canvas and you take one of these pages because you need to alter it, let's say for example you need to edit the functions.php, what you would do is you would copy out the functions.php, you would go into your new site and you would add a new file called functions.php. Now at the moment this will override the previous version, meaning that if I refresh my page now, because there are no functions, the page won't load properly. You see how things don't quite look right? I've lost my menu, there's a lot of things that aren't quite there. And this is because we've lost our functions. If I now go back into here and into our functions and I paste, this will now become relevant again. I'll get my head back if I refresh and I have to log back in again. But we have the site back. Okay, so that's covered the basics. Okay, there are, as I say, additional things you can do to improve on this. This is purely a framework and a starting point, but there is no reason with this information that you cannot create a website. So I hope this has helped. As I promised, I was going to tell you about my book. If you'd like to go to onlinemastery.co.uk, you can purchase my book there. This will take you through the 10 most important things you need to know before you create a website. So it'll get you the information you need to create a brief. It will look further into your business. Before you even start to create this, it will look at why you're creating this. It will look at creating your online identity, okay? Getting a domain name. There are 3 things you need to build a website. You need the domain name or your URL, your hosting or your server, and you need your website itself. You now know how to create your website. Make sure you get the right domain name. There's great websites. One of them, for example, is called Namescheck. I believe it's named CHK. Yeah, namescheck.com. So go onto here, type in new biz or whatever it will be called, and it will tell you if it is available or not, on what social media it is available, so you can save time. Make sure you use Twitter first. Twitter is limited to 15 character usernames. If it's not available on Twitter, it's not worth taking. Once it's available on one platform, get it across all of them. Make sure you get Twitter, make sure you get LinkedIn, make sure you get YouTube and Facebook as basics. Okay, I would also use things like Foursquare, Reddit, Dig, Pinterest. Just because you don't personally use them, your clients might. Make sure you get them. Make sure you get them with the domain name for your business. Again, in my book, we cover that through this section here. Where to store your website. Bluehost, GoDaddy, HostGator, don't use them. Okay, it's very easy to get sucked into that, oh, well, they're so cheap. They're cheap for a reason. They are shared hosting platforms. You are sharing your resources, you are sharing your security, your site with a lot of other people. If somebody else gets a virus, it can infect your machine. Okay, you owe it to your customers and your clients and yourself to protect yourself and to give yourself the very best business opportunity you can. There are two things I will recommend. One, as a WordPress website, go for wpengine.com. It's slightly more expensive than the other websites, but you will not regret it. It's a completely maintained, managed web hosting service purely for WordPress, and it is the best one on the market. If you want a more dedicated and more bespoke service, then speak to myself. I have my own hybrid server. It is the fastest in the UK, and I pride myself, as you know already and as you've seen, on giving the very best customer service that I can. So you will be very well looked after. It'll also come with a free installation of WordPress. We'll create my framework, and you can have that for free when you sign up for a year's hosting with me. Artwork requirements. Again, don't just take images off Google. Make sure that the images that you get are good images that you own. Okay, please don't build a nice website and then slap a crap image on it. When people come to your website, you have 3 seconds. You have 3 seconds for them to make up their mind. They make 3 decisions. If your website doesn't look good within the first 3 seconds, they are gone. Okay, your artwork is so important. That doesn't mean you need to do it yourself. You can get people on Fiverr.com, people on Elance, people to do this for you. This just gives you the brief to give to those people so that you know what you're looking for. Okay, content is another big thing. Okay, you need to SEO your work. Now, what I'm going to quickly show you regarding content is quite important in the SEO category. Because you've installed SEO by Yoast, what you'll see is this little dot here that says SEO. If we go into a page, and for example, I'm going to use at the moment membership level 1, and let's just say this isn't a lockdown page, let's just say this is a normal content page, and we have a keyword that we want to focus on, and we want to focus on the keyword big cats, for example, because that's our target keyword. Okay, this is going to tell you now, when we update, all the problems with this in the page analysis. Now, the article heading doesn't have big cats in, so let's change that to big cats information. If we upload this, it's now in the article heading and in the page title. See, we've got 2 ticks. In the content, this is about big cats. Okay, what we're going to see now is that's going to change. In the meta description and the content, it's there. All right, if we add that into the page URL here, so we change this to big cats. Okay, the page URL may not because it's got a hyphen in it, but it's as close as you're going to get it, all right, unless you use one word. Oh, yeah, it has, it's picked it up. So there you go. We've now already started to SEO for big cats. Click across the page analysis here, and it will tell you all the things wrong with your site. 7 words in the body, far too low, okay, should be increased. 400 words minimum. No meta description has been specified. No images appear, okay? No outbound links. It tells you all the things to do, okay? Get a green dot on every page and you're going to be halfway towards SEO in your website. Okay, once your website's launched, submit it to Google. Okay, actually go to Google and register with Google Webmaster. Google Webmaster Tools, okay? Go here, register your website. Add the site, make sure it's registered, all right? Submit your sitemap. I think SEO does it. Don't submit your sitemap too much because you will be penalized for it. But go here, okay? Check this box, make sure you've got your sitemap, okay? Make sure it's submitted. Okay, also submit it to Yahoo to ask. Right, make sure you do these basic things because these are the things that are going to attract you new business. Next thing you need to do is functionality of systems. Now, I mean, we've covered a lot of this already. You've got a membership website. You've got an e-commerce website. I'll also teach you how to create autoresponders, how to use a squeeze page to get people's email addresses, and then how to add value to those people that you have. So when you have their email address, using an autoresponder to send them systematic messages to basically warm them to you before they're ready to buy. Okay, it's called the nurturing process. So we'll look at how we can create that. Also things like reconciliation, you know, using systems like Zero or FreshBooks or Quick you know, there's so many different systems out there that you can use, so that when a payment is taken on your website, it automatically reconciles in your accounting software and goes to your accountant, and it saves all that hassle, so you can actually concentrate on new content and not on actually running your business. Okay, I want to get you out of, you don't want to be in your business, you want to be working on your business. There's a big difference. Okay, how to build a responsive list. We just touched on that with autoresponders. Again, the money is no longer in the list. The money is in the relationship you have with that list. So we'll go through different things on how you can create a good approach to your customers to give them added value and benefits and features that they will want, as opposed to what you want to give them. It's what they want, what they need. How to make your site profitable. Now, we've covered a lot of that. We've already got that in the place with membership and with e-commerce, but we'll cover that in more detail. Analytics are set up, but we'll go through that. Another fantastic one, which I'm going to give you now, is called Crazy Egg. Okay, Crazy Egg. If you go to Crazy Egg, this is a fantastic heat map. Okay, so if we go in here, I'm going to show you really quickly, okay, so you can see this. So I'm going to I'll show you. I've not been on this for a while, but as you can see, I've got an account here. It's been stopped, but it's a snapshot I did, and if I view the result, you can see I have 400 people view the site, and it shows you here. So this is a site that you're looking at the moment, and you can see where the people are looking. You can see where the people are. You can see where people are touching for the video. The more they touch, the bigger the color, and it gives you a lot. There's so much more you can go through, but this is a fantastic analytical thing to show you what works and what doesn't. You know, to show you that your social media links don't work here, to show you that they do work here. Okay, people are looking at them here, they're clicking, but they're not clicking here. All right, so they're showing you what works and what doesn't. Fantastic, Crazy Egg. Okay, analytics, we'll go through that. And also marketing advice. You know, there's a lot more you can do. This is just the basics. This is the foundation, and I've given you a lot of information within this hour, but I think you'll agree that you've now got a solid framework. So there is no excuse for you to go out and to create an amazing life for yourself. Right, I hope to get in contact with me. I really want to hear how it's going. If you've built a website, if you watch this video and then build a website, send me the link. I'd love to view it. I'd love to come and critique it and to see how it's working, and if there's ways for you to improve it. If you want me to do any work for you, I'm more than happy to. onlinemastery.co.uk/request. One of the things on the systems I was talking about, project management system. You'll go into my project management system, I'll get the request, I'll respond to you, we'll take it on a case-by-case basis. If I'm going to work with you, fantastic. If not, then I will at least point you in the direction of someone that can. Okay, I wish you the best. Thank you so much for being here till the end. I genuinely appreciate your time. Take care and have a fantastic day. Please, if you like this, visit me on Facebook, share, comment. Please help me to spread this message to give other people the opportunity to build their website too. Thank you. Take care. Good day.